You're welcome once again to this channel. Today I want to speak on mandatory documentation in ISO 27001. ISO 27001 is an important certification for information security management system. And of course, we have the 27001 lead implementer certification. We have the 27001 lead auditor certification. So it is very important for both the implementers and the auditors to be aware of the documentations that are very important and compulsory in the implementation process. So let's look at the mandatory documentation. Number one, scope of the ISMS. You will find this in clause 4.3. All right, clause 4 is about the context of the organization. So you need to be able to document the statement of scope mandatorily. All right, information security policy and objective. You will find this in clause 5.2. All right, which is on the leadership. Okay, and you also find it in clause 6.2, which is on clause 6 is on planning. All right, so you have to show evidence that you have information security policy and the objectives. Okay, risk assessment and risk treatment methodology. This is of course the clause 6.1.2. Okay, which we talk about planning, and part of the planning is having your risk assessment in place, your risk assessment methodology, your risk assessment plan, and the rest. So clause 6 says you need to have risk assessment, documentation, risk treatment methodology. Then statement of applicability, very important. Clause 6.1.3d. All right, so it's part of your risk treatment methodology actually. So all the risks you have identified, look at the Annex A of 27001 and see which one of the controls are applicable, which ones of them are not applicable. State the one that are applicable with justification, state the ones that are not applicable with justification also. So you have to justify inclusion, you have to justify exclusion. Okay, in coming videos I will try to show a sample of statement of applicability and show you how it is developed in real life. Okay, so if you have not subscribed to this channel, try to subscribe to this channel. If you like this video, try and like it. Okay, so statement of applicability showing the controls that needs to be implemented and the ones that do not need to be implemented. Clause 6.1.3d. Then you have risk treatment plan, which is in clause 6.1.3e, 6.2, and 8.3. So the risks you have identified, tell us, are you going to avoid them? Are you going to accept them? Are you going to mitigate them? Are you going to transfer them? So that is what the risk treatment plan is all about. It's very mandatory. The risk assessment report, clause 8.2, clause 8.3. All right, operations. Clause 8 is operations. The do. If you look at if you want to map the clauses to PDCA, Plan Do Check Act. So the risk assessment report, very compulsory in ISO 27001 implementation. Then definition of security roles and responsibilities. You'll find that in clause A.7.1.2. So that A means Annex A. So Annex A.7.1.2, Annex A.13.2.4. All right, refers to the fact that you need to have an organogram of information security in the organization implementing 27001. All right, inventory of assets, clause 8.1.1, inventory of assets, you must have it in place. Okay, compulsorily, and of course it must be updated inventory. Acceptable use of assets, clause 8.1.3. all right, so that is basically you can maybe make that a subset of information security policy. So it's basically a policy addressing acceptability of assets in the organization. Access control policy also, clause 8.9.1.1. 8.9 is the access control generally. So you need to have access control policy in place. Okay, so that is very much compulsory. Okay, operating procedures for IT management. Okay, so documentation of procedures in IT. That's what that is referring to. So we have that in clause 8.12.1.1. Secure system engineering principle clause 8.14.2.5. The supplier security policy clause 8.5.15.1.1. So there must be a policy to ensure that suppliers, vendors, all right, will not worsen the risk situation in your organization. So as you're implementing 27001, you are transferring and communicating that reality to your vendors so that the vendor risk can be brought down to an acceptable level. That's supplier risk security policy. Okay, incident management procedure also must be documented. Business continuity procedures, clause 8.17.1.2. Of course, if you are implementing 22301, so it becomes very easy to implement to meet the requirement of clause 8.17.1.2. Then statutory, regulatory, and contractual requirements. All right, clause 8.18.1.1. Clause 18 is compliance, basically. So the legal requirement, regulatory requirement, contractual requirement, you need to show, all right, their lists, okay, and what you are going to comply with them. All these are mandatory documentation you need to have, all right, in 27001. Then we talk about mandatory records. So records are evidence of activities that have been performed. All right. So records are a special type of documents in that they tell us what has been done. All right, in the pursuit of achieving the certification. All right. So records of training skills, experience, and qualification clause 7.2. Clause 7 is support. So you need to be able to show us evidence that you have trained your staff. So certificates of certificate of attendance, certificate of passing exam. Okay, we have 2 lead implementers, we have 3 lead auditors. Okay, so we need to be able to have documentation to show that. All right, monitoring and measurement result clause 9.1. Of course, clause 9 is about monitoring measurements and general performance evaluation. All right, so clause 9.1 you need to show us evidence that you have been monitoring your objective, your ISMS objective, and you have been taking records. All right, so show us evidence of that. Clause 9.2 is internal audit program. Show us evidence that you have your internal audits, they have an internal audit program for the ISMS. All right. Clause 9.2 is the result of internal audit. Show us a proof that yes, your internal audit, they have audited clause 4, this is the result. They have audited clause 5, this is the result. They have audited clause 10, this is the result. So those results must be kept. So of course, that will be in form of audit reports. All right. Clause 9.3, result of management review. So management review is compulsory. All right. So of course, it must be done. So show us evidence that the management team of the organization have met. All right. The standard says they must meet at planned intervals. At planned intervals. So you have to determine what that interval, the frequency is going to be. But show us evidence that they have met. Result of corrective actions. Clause 10.1. Show us evidence that all right, non-conformities that have been discovered, either minor or major, have been addressed. Okay, log of user activities, exceptions, and security events. That is clause 8.12.4.1, clause 8.24.3. That's annex 8.12. Okay, so you need to show us evidence you are keeping logs, you are keeping administrative logs, you are keeping operator logs in that organization. All right, but there are also some non-mandatory documents which are good to have. All right, which will also strengthen your implementation. All right, for example, information classification policy clause 8.8.2.1 clause 8.2.2 clause 8.2.3. I've said that A means annex A. So show us evidence that documentations, information are classified, okay, according to sensitivity in the organization. Password policy. All right. So you need to have a policy of password management, clause 8.9.2.1, all right, clause 8.9.2.2, 8.9.2.4, 8.9.3.1, 8.9.4.3. Of course, when you see 8.9, you know that is access control, all right, 27001 is A. Disposal and destruction policy also. Okay, so that is clause A.8.3.2, A.11.2.7. Okay, so show us evidence of a policy addressing destruction, all right, and disposal of media in the organization. Okay, procedures for working in secure environment, that is of physical controls, physical and environmental control, plus 8.11.1.5. All right, so show us evidence that there are procedures for working in secure areas. Clear desk and clear screen policy, plus 8.11.2.9. So ISO also expected to prepare a policy on clear desk, a policy of clear screen policy on clear screen in the organization. Chain management policy is a non-mandatory documentation, which is good to have. Backup policy, good to have. Information transfer policy, good to have. Business impact analysis, of course, is good to have. It will be compulsory in 22301. All right, but for 27001, which is ISMS, it is a good to have documentation. Exercise and testing plan, all right, plus 8.17.1.3 also is also good to have. Show us that you are testing your business continuity. Maintenance and review plan, all right, plus 8.17.1.3. Business continuity strategy, plus 8.17.2.1. So all these are mandatory, non-mandatory documentation which can strengthen the implementation. But of course, the implementers and the auditors need to first consider the mandatory documents and mandatory record when you are implementing or when you are auditing what the implementers have done. So thank you once again. My name is Akinwale Akinbiya. If you love this video, try and like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.